She was just driving home, calm and focused, when flashing red and blue lights filled her rearview mirror. A simple stop for speeding, they said. But what began as a routine traffic pullover quickly spiraled into humiliation, fear, and rage. The officer didn't know who she was, or what mission she was on. And when the truth finally came out, it wouldn't just shake the department. It would expose the kind of corruption that hides behind the badge. What happened next would change everything. The morning sun was barely up when Naomi Carter started her drive down Highway 74. She wasn't in uniform, not today. Dressed in a black hoodie and jeans, she blended in with the early commuters heading to work. To anyone passing by, she looked like an ordinary young woman on her way somewhere unimportant. But inside her car, on the passenger seat, sat a sealed brown envelope marked Confidential, Internal Affairs Division. Naomi wasn't just anyone. She was the daughter of Police Chief Raymond Carter, a man known for his integrity, and she had followed in his footsteps. Quietly. After graduating top of her class from the State Academy, she joined a covert internal affairs task force investigating misconduct within local departments. This drive wasn't casual. She was delivering evidence that could expose corruption in a nearby precinct. She kept her speed steady, eyes on the road, her heart calm. She'd done tougher missions before, drug busts, undercover surveillance. But something about this assignment felt heavier. Maybe it was because she was investigating one of their own. A patrol car appeared in her rearview mirror. For a moment, she thought nothing of it. Then came the flashing lights, the siren, the order to pull over. Naomi's hands tightened around the steering wheel. She knew exactly how these situations could go, especially for someone who looked like her. She rolled down her window, heart steady but cautious, rehearsing the calm tone she'd learned to use in tense moments. The officer approached slowly. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her badge was hidden in her glove compartment, and he definitely didn't know who her father was. But he was about to find out. The hard way. Naomi pulled her car to the side, her signal blinking steadily as the patrol cruiser stopped behind her. She took a slow breath, calm, controlled, alert. This wasn't her first encounter with law enforcement, but this time the power dynamic was reversed. Today, she wasn't the officer. She was just a black woman in a car. The officer stepped out, his boots striking the pavement with heavy authority. He was tall, white, with mirrored sunglasses and a practiced scowl. His hand rested on his holster as he approached. Naomi could feel the familiar weight of judgment in his stride. The unspoken assumption that she didn't belong, that she was already guilty of something. "License and registration," he barked before even reaching her window. Naomi reached slowly toward her glove compartment, her movements measured, deliberate. Her badge, her identity, lay just inches away from her hand, tucked beside the documents he'd asked for. But when she glanced up, she saw it. His other hand, hovering near his gun. Her chest tightened. Every story she'd read, every case she'd investigated, flashed through her mind. Her training told her to stay calm, to comply. But her instincts screamed caution. "Officer," she said evenly, "I'm reaching for my—" "Don't talk. Just move slow," he interrupted sharply. She handed him her license and registration. He looked it over, then back at her, suspicion painted across his face. "You in a hurry, ma'am? You were doing 65 in a 45. Naomi's pulse quickened. She hadn't been speeding, not even close. But she stayed silent. She knew how fragile peace was in moments like this. Minutes passed as he sat in his cruiser, running her plates. When he returned, his tone had changed. Colder, more commanding. "Step out of the vehicle." Naomi hesitated. "Is there a problem, officer?" His jaw tightened. "Now." She unbuckled slowly, stepping out into the sunlight. The road was quiet. No witnesses, no backup, just the two of them. His eyes scanned her car, then her body, then back to the envelope on her passenger seat. "What's that?" he asked. "It's work," she replied. "Work? You some kind of lawyer?" he sneered. She didn't answer. He reached for the door handle, pulling it open without permission. Papers fluttered. The confidential envelope slid to the floor, the seal cracking. Naomi's heart sank. Inside were names, officers under investigation, including his. Their eyes met. His expression shifted from arrogance to panic, then anger. "Where did you get this?" he demanded. Naomi straightened her posture, her voice steady but firm. "You're making a mistake." But it was too late. His radio crackled. His hand moved back to his gun. The silence stretched thin, charged, dangerous. In that moment, Naomi realized this was no longer about a traffic stop. It was about survival and truth. What happened next would determine not only her fate, but the fate of an entire department. The world around Naomi seemed to shrink. The open highway now felt like a trap. The officer's hand hovered near his weapon, his breathing heavy, his tone sharp enough to slice through the morning air. "You think you can mess with me?" he spat, snatching the envelope from the ground. Pages fluttered, and for a split second, he saw his own name on the list. His face hardened. "You shouldn't have seen this." Naomi's heart raced. She'd been in dangerous situations before, but never like this. Never this exposed. This powerless. Her phone sat on the driver's seat, inches from her reach, her badge glinting faintly in the sunlight. One wrong move and this stop could end in tragedy. "Officer," she said softly, trying to steady her voice, "that file isn't what you think. I'm with Internal Affairs. You're under—" "Don't you move!" he shouted, his voice cracking with panic. The words echoed down the empty road. For a terrifying moment, Naomi saw the same look she'd seen in countless case photos, the look of an officer seconds away from doing something irreversible. Her mind raced. She couldn't fight him, couldn't reach her badge, couldn't prove who she was. Then, out of nowhere, another voice broke through the chaos. Loud, commanding, familiar. "Stand down, Officer Harlan." Naomi froze. The sound came from behind the flashing lights. Another cruiser had arrived. The man stepping out was her father, Chief Raymond Carter. His voice carried years of authority and fury. The officer turned pale, lowering his weapon, realization dawning too late. Chief Carter stormed forward, eyes burning. "That woman you just threatened," he said coldly, "is my daughter, and she's been investigating you." The silence that followed was heavy, charged, and unforgettable. Naomi stood still, her pulse racing, the weight of everything crashing over her. In that moment, she knew this wasn't just about her anymore. It was about every person who'd ever been stopped for no reason but the color of their skin. The investigation that followed shook the entire department. Officer Harlan was suspended. Within 24 hours, and the footage from his body camera spread across every major network by the end of the week. Viewers watched in disbelief as a decorated black woman, calm, compliant, and unarmed, was treated like a criminal by a man sworn to protect. But what struck people most wasn't just what happened, it was who it happened to. For Naomi, the days that followed felt heavier than any case she had ever handled. She'd been trained to expose corruption, but now she had lived the consequences of it. She didn't need another report or testimony to understand how deep the problem ran. She had felt it firsthand. Her father, Chief Carter, stood beside her at the press conference. Cameras flashed as he admitted that no badge, no title, and no rank could protect a black person from bias. His words were raw, unfiltered, and real. If this can happen to my daughter, it can happen to anyone. Those words became a spark. Community leaders rallied for reform. Training programs were rewritten. But for Naomi, the victory wasn't in policy. It was in truth. She returned to work with a renewed mission, not just to catch corrupt officers, but to change the system that allows them to exist. Late one evening, as she drove the same road where it all happened, she slowed at the spot where her life nearly changed forever. The sirens were gone, but the memory remained, a reminder of how easily power can turn into prejudice. She whispered. To herself, justice doesn't start in a courtroom. It starts at a traffic stop. And as the screen fades, one question lingers. How many more stops will it take before equality stops being a privilege and becomes a guarantee? Don't miss more powerful real-life stories. Hit subscribe now.